Alhamdulillah wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Another area that needs to be discussed when it comes to some of the modern day Salafi strife is the issue of tabdir, and where people are claiming that other people are innovators. And this is a there's a big basic principle when it comes to naming people in Islam, which is like the ahkam al asma, which is like that we understand that there's certain conditions for the names to be applied to people, because in Arabic, when somebody has a name, this is something that if somebody does a certain action, then them doing this certain action, we can say that they are a person that does this action. But a lot of times this action, if we just throw this name at this person just because they did this action, so like a mubtada, someone who does bid'ah, so we'd say this person's a mubtada because he does bid'ah. For us to say that this person is a mubtada and to do tabdi' on this person, there are certain like ahkam that have to be given before we can give this ruling to him. We can say that this action is bid'ah, and we can say that someone who does this action is a person of a sahib of bid'ah. We can say like it's a person of bid'ah. But we can't say that this person, an individual, this ayn, like this qadiyat al-ayn, we can't say that this individual is a person of bid'ah just because we saw him doing this action. There's certain conditions that must be met for this. And this basic principle is also something that's talked about in takfir as well. Just because we'll say that this action is an action of kufr. So some people will say someone who says that the Quran is created, then faqad kafir. As we say that, okay, someone who says that the Quran is created, we say that this person has done disbelief. He's disbelieved. Now, to say that this individual that did this, such as like Imam Ahmed, at the time of the fitna of this saying that came out and that was very, very widespread, that the Quran is created. At the time of this, Imam Ahmed, he was in front of like the hukam, or like the khalifa that was promoting this ideology. And so did he make takfir of him? No. And he said it was kufr. Yes. So he said that there's a difference between like putting this label and reaching the end of this. And there's certain conditions, and this is for, there's certain conditions that this has to be made before someone can do takfir on somebody. And there's also certain conditions that that needs to be made for someone to do tabdi'. And they're basically the same conditions for this. And it's not for a layperson that can't even read Arabic and that hasn't even finished Beni Yadik, and that needs me to tell them, they need to listen to an English video. It's not for them to, they're definitely not able to do, and to do tabdi'. So if they hear that someone says someone else is a mubtada', they need to have heard this from an actual scholar that said this, and they can't say this from their own ijtihad. They can say this scholar said so and so, and they're just a naql. Like at this point, they're a naql, and they can't have this ijtihad for themselves or claim ijtihad if they don't even know Arabic. If you don't know the ABCs of Sarf, you've not even studied Ajrumiyya, where you're just opening up Beni Yadik, you're wondering if you're going to study or not, and you're already talking about who's a mubtada' and who's not, as if this is what you have to say about the matter. No. Like, you need to check yourself, because first, for the ijtihad to be given, and for this is something that's left to a mujtahid, and it's not saying that you need to be a mujtahid mutlaq for someone to do these things, but it needs to be left for people who actually can understand the back and forth conversation between someone. This is the bare minimum. Someone knows Arabic, and so if you don't know Arabic, then the rest of what I have to say doesn't have anything to, like, doesn't help you. And then after, if someone knows Arabic, of course, they know Arabic, and they know the Quran and Sunnah, and they have been exposed to these things, and then they also know that this person needs to have had the evidence reach them in a way that they can understand properly. Or like somebody that is like them would understand this evidence. And then they need to make sure that any shubahat that this person has are dealt with accordingly. Then after this happens, then they can say this person's mubtada'. And this is for someone who is able to do that ijtihad. And this is the level of ijtihad, so he needs to have at least the bare minimum adat, al-ijtihad, for someone to do this actual action. So he needs to know this masala very, very well and whatnot. It's not saying that he needs to be a full mujtahid, but also at the same time, this is not for the random talib al-ilm that is still learning. He hasn't even gone through qadr and adat, or even taken a bare minimum level of sarf and nahu and balagha, and hasn't even read all of the sunnah before, hasn't even studied anything in fiqh, for him to start talking about who's mubtada and not. Like this is a very detailed issue, and that's no one should be talking about what is above their status. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. But this is a matter that takes brings very harsh rift into the ummah, and that people need to fear Allah when they're talking about their brothers and sisters, and that they need to have husnul dhan, and they also need to understand that just because their sheikh believes a certain thing does not mean that sheikh is infallible. And if they want to replay what that sheikh says, then they say that sheikh so and so said this, and they leave it at that. And this is Sheikh so-and-so's Fulan, or like this is his Sheikh Fulan's ijtihad. We leave it at that. But we don't need to actually go all the way to the, because a lot of the brothers, they go hardcore on people, and they say this person mubtada, blah blah blah. Anyone who says such and such is a mubtada, and then they just throw this all together. They say 1 + 2 = 3, and then everyone that says 2, then there are 3. This is not as simple as this, and there's a lot more and details that go before in the Sharia before labeling someone as a mubtada. And so and we seek Allah's refuge from this type of extremity that happens. But this is very important. So of course, like, no one should be banning people as and whatnot from all these different things just because they have a certain opinion on this, that, and the other. And wallahu musta'an. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.
فلذلك فادع واستقم كما أمرت ولا تتبع أهواءهم وقل آمنت بما أنزل الله من كتاب وأمرت لأعدل بينكم الله ربنا وربكم لنا بيننا وبينكم الله يجمع بيننا وإليه المصير.